race for the Big Ten title. Northwestern runs a relay. Kane Coulter's speed option, passing the baton to Venrick Mark. Iowa needs an aerial approach and a strong closing kick from James Vandenberg. And the race for the Big Ten title. On your mark, get set, go. Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by 5-Hour Energy. And a gorgeous day here at Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. The sun is out, temperature in the mid-40s for the Hawkeyes and the Wildcats. Michigan right now on top in the Big Ten Legends Division. They've got the showdown coming up later today with Nebraska. And then Iowa and Northwestern still very much in the chase for a berth in the Big Ten championship game. Kirk Ferentz, the head coach for the Iowa Hawkeyes in his 14th season. He's got a couple of Big Ten titles, 11 straight trips to a bowl, trying to bounce back from what was the worst home loss in 13 years a week ago back at Kinnick Stadium against Penn State. Pat Fitzgerald, well, he is just 4 wins away from becoming the winningest coach in Northwestern history in just his 7th season. He has a Big Ten title as a player here at Northwestern, would love to add one as a coach as well. Iowa won the toss and they elected to defer. So Venrick Mark, 5th in the country in all-purpose yards, is back to receive. He is the top punt returner in the country. And will he have an opportunity here on the kick return as we get set for the Hawkeyes and the Wildcats, both suffering disappointing losses a week ago and hoping to put those quickly in the rearview mirror. And the kick is away and over the head of Mark, so the Wildcats will start out at their own 25-yard line. And as is the case for Northwestern, week in and week out, who will be in the quarterback position? Both Kane Coulter and Trevor Siemian can play there. And Kane Coulter will trot out this up-tempo offense. He will run, he will throw, he will receive. And he will split time with Trevor Siemian for this Northwestern offense that runs about 75 plays per game. They'd love to crank that up to about 85 per game. And right away, the speed option and the pitch from Coulter to Venrick Mark after the 30-yard line. Anthony Hitchens with the tackle. There is Trevor Siemian, and one of the things that Pat Fitzgerald talked about with us this week, we have to have some consistency at that quarterback position, particularly in the passing game, where he's looking for some more big plays today. Coulter on the rollout and incomplete. Looking for Rashad Lawrence. How about our impact players brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse, Joey?
You mentioned Kane Coulter, who will play quarterback, running back, receiver. He'll do everything for this Northwestern offense. And then Venrick Mark, the big play home run hitter at running back, first season full-time running back, has 80-yard touchdowns, 50-yard touchdowns. He'll score from anywhere on the field.
Beth Barnes, Joey Galloway, Lewis Johnson with you here in Evanston this afternoon. And a third down situation. 10 3-and-outs last week in the loss to Nebraska, and Coulter going to try and run for it, and he's got the first down into the secondary, and the stiff arm out at the 46-yard line. B.J. Lowry with the tackle, a 22-yard run.
Interesting, Iowa decides to come with a blitz in this situation on third down, get out of their lanes, and that opens up for Kane Coulter to make the play with his feet, which is what he's really good at.
Coulter will give to Venrick Mark. Venrick stuffed after the short game. Venrick just 90 yards away from 1,000 on the season.
And that's the key to slowing down Venrick Mark. Make him make a cut in the backfield. If he gets up to full speed without making a cut, he's tough to stop when he gets to your secondary. Make him make a cut, and then you rally around him and contain him.
And this is one of the better running combos in the Big Ten. In fact, the rushing numbers for Northwestern, 17th in the country. And a big pop in the backfield. Louis Trinca-Passat, the sophomore from here in Chicago, making the big hit. And Dominic Alvis alongside with some pressure.
Really nice defense by Iowa, because you have a guy that has to take care of the quarterback and a guy that has to worry about Mark at the running back. Stop the quarterback and you stop the option, and sets up a 3rd and long, and you put Coulter in a situation where he may have to throw a pass, and that's what you want him to do.
Empty set with the receivers bunched to the right. Now Mike Trumpy into the backfield on 3rd and long. Coulter stepping up and gonna run with it, and he will leg it out for the first down again. And Coulter inside the Hawkeye 35 to move the chains. That's his second gain of over 20 yards already on the ground.
And the last time on third down, Iowa sends the blitz. This time they sit back in coverage and they rush 4. That's not going to be enough to contain Coulter. He can find those lanes and run up the middle if you do that.
Both of those big gainers on third down to keep the drive alive. And now Coulter looking to the air. He'll tuck it and step out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. Coulter is the junior out of Denver, and ideally, Joey, they want to get him into space and get him one-on-one with a defender.
And we've seen that earlier on both third downs. He had a lot of space to run. The blitz failed the first one. The second one they rushed for, and they get him out in space, and he's a big play guy when he gets in space.
8th play of this opening drive for Northwestern. Trumpy on the carry and a burst up the middle inside the 15-yard line. And another first down taken down by James Morris. Another big chunk of yardage, 17 yards on the ground.
And Trumpy's the running back you forget about because Mark has been so successful, but Trumpy's the guy that can run up between the tackles, break a few tackles for the larger gains after he takes the initial hit. They don't get that out of Venrick Mark. It's a nice changeup for Northwestern.
Mark gonna keep it again. Cuts back inside the 10-yard line.
Venrick Mark, the ball carrier.
Coulter again working out of the gun. Venrick Mark right into the arms of Dominic
Venrick Mark,
Vargas.
the ball carrier.
How about an opening drive for Northwestern? 70 yards, Joey, all of it on the ground.
And there's another nice play by the Iowa defense, not allowing Venrick Mark to get a chance to get his momentum started. Stopped him in the backfield, and now it sets up a 3rd and short, and we'll see what they do. Venrick Mark is not your bigger back that runs in the middle. We'll see what happens on this 3rd and short.
2 for 2 on third down on this drive. Coulter gonna keep it. He'll get to the outside and into the end zone. Northwestern rolling down the field to take the early lead. It may not show up in the stat sheet, but he also got a nice block to hold the edge by Venrick Mark. And Coulter springs to the outside. 11 plays, 75 yards. They legged it out the entire way. Extra point from Jeff Budsey is good. Kane Coulter maneuvering the Wildcats quickly downfield, and he'll top it off with the short run for 6. A crisp autumn day here on the shores of Lake Michigan. The Chicago skyline off in the distance. Kane Coulter, plenty to talk about in that opening drive. 43 yards on the ground. He converted 3 third down plays with his feet, and he scooted in for the opening score of the day from 5 yards out. And an Iowa defense that got beat up pretty good last week by Penn State. Under fire quickly here this afternoon in Evanston. And return out across the 25-yard line as the Hawkeye offense will come on for their first appearance of the day. Beth Mowins, along with 16-year NFL veteran Joey Galloway, Lewis Johnson also with us today. Well, talk about a Northwestern team, Joey. They wanted the ball in the hands of their playmaker, and they did just that on that opening drive with Kane Coulter.
Their #1 goal, establish the run today, so we figured we'd see Coulter at the quarterback position, and now we see why. He was terrific on the first drive, converting the third downs with his feet, and if they can do that today, it's going to be a long day for this Iowa defense.
James Vandenberg with the handoff to Northwestern. He gets out to the 31-yard line. For Hawkeye fans, all eyes today will be on James Vandenberg. So good a year ago through his first 7 games. He had 16 touchdown passes, but this year just 3, and his completion percentage down as well.
Just has not looked very comfortable with this offensive system. It's his first year in this system. He's a senior guy. He's been doing other things his entire career. Now a brand new system just doesn't look like he's having a good time.
Weissman, who has burst onto the scene after starting out fall camp as a second-string fullback, has taken over at the tailback spot. The Hawkeyes, as has been an issue for them over the course of the last few years, a lot of attrition at that running back spot. Weissman has been a real find thus far, although he was limited last week against Penn State after they fell so far behind early in that game. And he has also been dinged up by a sore ankle. On first down, Weissman is the lone setback. Vandenberg to the air, looking to connect with Keenan Davis. The catch made at the 42-yard line. Let's see if he scooped this one up.
Might be worth taking a look. Yeah, I think the ball did touch the ground, but apparently they're going to count it.
That second look certainly did appear it went to ground, but we were anticipating, Joey, some short passing opportunities for Vandenberg here early on to see if they can get his confidence up. Making his 23rd career start. He is one of just 3 quarterbacks in the country that has taken every snap for his team. And he's got the first down out to midfield, and Cavante Martin Manley. Let's go down to the field right now, and Lewis Johnson.
All right, Beth. Well, I had a conversation with Iowa's offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, before the game regarding his running back situation. Mark Weissman, coming off the high ankle sprain, said he's about 90%, but if he warmed up well, he'd get the start, and we see that he is on the field. But Davis said the importance is that he gives them a chance to stay in front of the chains, take some pressure off his quarterback, who needs to have a great game today. And Davis says establishing the run will be very important here.
And right on cue, Lewis, they try Weissman again. He is cut down after a gain of 1 by David Wabusi. How about our impact players for Iowa? And Weissman is one of them.
At running back, we have Mark Weissman, who will present a different type of running game than what we see from Northwestern. He's downhill, he hits the hole, he doesn't make many cuts, and he breaks tackles. And then on defense for Iowa, 2 really outstanding linebackers in Anthony Hitchens and James Morris. Both guys average double digits in tackles each game this season.
And we already saw in that first possession that James Morris had to be assisted to the sideline. We'll see the next time the defense comes out if he is back with them. It is Weissman going to get the carry again. He averages about 6 yards per run, and he will pick up maybe 1 more there. Spun around again by David Wabusi. The other possible addition today in the backfield for Iowa would be the return of Damon Bullock, who has missed the last 4 games with a head injury. He was their starter for the first 3 games this season.
Mark Weissman ran the last play wide, and if you're Northwestern's defense, you love to see Weissman going wide. If you get him going sideways, he can't turn his shoulders upfield. Tougher for him to break tackles. He's not that kind of runner. He needs to be between the tackles, shoulders upfield.
Weissman coming out of the backfield, and he's got the first down. Some good protection on that pass play out of the backfield. 14 yards on the pickup. The other big story for this Iowa defense, Joey, 2 new guys on the left side at guard and tackle after injuries have fallen. Brandon Scherf and Andrew Donnell.
We'll keep our eye on that left side of the offensive line and see how it works out. So far, so good. They've gotten the ball out of Vandenberg's hands pretty quickly, and that helps the protection get it out. It doesn't give a chance for these guys to break down on the left side until they get warm and get into the flow of the game.
Jordan Walsh at guard, Matt Tobin at left tackle, and the give to Weissman. Takes a hit, falls forward, wrapped up by Arguzo. Weissman is back home. The sophomore from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, went to Stevenson High School about 20 miles northwest of here. Started out at Air Force, left, and walked on here at Iowa. And he's averaging 91 yards per game. Weissman offset on second down. Vandenberg lost it, has to fall on it, with Wabusi bearing down on him. And there is Damon Bullock now in the backfield next to Vandenberg for Iowa on 3rd down. The completion to Bullock coming out of the backfield to the 22-yard line. That will be about 3 yards shy. And do you go for it here on 4th down if you're Kirk Ferentz?
I think you kick it. You're on the road this early in the game. I think you want to get points on the board. That's a nice drive for your offense. Let's reward them with points. You want to get your confidence going. You want to get into the flow of this game, especially after the loss last week. I think you get 3 here is a good job.
And it helps when you've got the most accurate field goal kicker in the Big Ten Conference, and Mike Meyer hitting on over 80% of his kicks. He's got a little help from the breeze today. That's at his back heading in this direction, and he's good from 40 yards out. So both teams get some points on their first drives of the day. Now the world-renowned Medill School of Journalism here at Northwestern. Some of the legendary broadcasters of our time, the likes of Brent Musburger, Mike Wilbon, Mike Greenberg.
Think I could get in there? Would you think I could?
Well, we were just at Ohio State last week, and Joey, you got your picture taken for the Buckeye Hall of Broadcasting Fame. I think you're going up on the wall, right?
Yeah, finally make the wall back there.
I don't know about Medill. We'll have to ask. Rumor has it that Michael Wilbon might be on the premises. We might have to check with him to see. The kickoff into the end zone. So Venrick Mark will not have an opportunity. And now to the air, and Venrick Mark out in space. And he's got a 1st down out across the 35. Good news for the Hawkeyes. Their middle linebacker, James Morris, who had to be helped off the field earlier, is back out there, averaging double-digit tackles per game. He's got 4 already today. For a Hawkeye defense that was taxed by Penn State last week and unable to slow down Northwestern on its first drive of the day as Coulter goes up top, and it's intercepted. B.J. Lowry with the pick as Coulter overthrew his intended target.
You give Lowry a lot of credit. That was the same formation that Northwestern scored last week with the 80-yard run by Venrick Mark, the 2-back split situation. This time they fake it, the cornerback stays back. That's how offenses will build upon their success from the week before. They scored a running touchdown last week. This week they fake the run and try to get the receiver downfield. Really nice play by the corner, picking the ball off.
The turnover gets it back for Iowa when we return. Here on the campus of Northwestern University, the Lagoon here in Evanston, and a 7-3 Wildcat lead, but the Hawkeyes with the turnover as they get it back on the B.J. Lowry interception. Let's see if Vandenberg will go to work. Weissman runs into Proby. Vandenberg, the short drop, and dropped by Davis at the 33-yard line. Daniel Jones, the sophomore out of Monticello, Florida, had the coverage.
And a dangerous throw out wide. A little slow getting out there in the corner. Jones almost makes a break on this ball. It wasn't as soft at times he was on the 3rd down play. A little closer. Vandenberg has to be careful throwing it out wide. If you're going to do that, you have to go to the outside of the receiver where only he can reach it, and the corner can't make a break.
Vandenberg starting out 6 for 6 at the first incompletion of the day, and now 3rd and 8. Cotton down to the near side and throwing across the middle. Weissman wrapped up at the 33-yard line by Wabusi. That is short of the 1st down. Missed opportunity for Iowa as the first quarter comes to a close.
That's the end of the first quarter.
7-3, Northwestern with the lead over Iowa. Homecoming weekend here in Chicago, and Kane Coulter from 5 yards out, taking it home. Downtown Chicago, Illinois. We're just north of town in Evanston. It's homecoming weekend here at Northwestern. And the Cats with the advantage through one. They lead Iowa 7-3 in this Legends Division meeting. And after the delay of game penalty on 4th and short, it's now 4th and 8, and Connor Cornbrath trying to bury this one deep in Northwestern territory, and they will put it to bed inside the 5-yard line. Micah Hyde on the run to bat it back in play. And take home the trophy, and Venrick Mark right up the middle, and it's a foot race towards the end zone, and he will be hauled down from behind by Micah Hyde as he saves the touchdown. 72 yards for Venrick Mark.
Straight off that right side of the offensive line. Again, when Venrick Mark does not get touched, Beth, I mean, when he hits your secondary full speed, there's nothing you can do. He has these kind of runs because his offensive line has done such a nice job of opening holes and allowing him to get to full speed before anyone lays a hand on him.
Coulter will give to Trumpy. Nice bounce to the outside, and Mike Trumpy, the nephew of former NFL star Bob Trumpy, down to the 16-yard line. The offensive line, we talked about it in their big win against Minnesota earlier this year. Patrick Ward, Brian Mulrow, Brandon Vitabile, Neil Deiters, and Jack Konopka able to give Venrick Mark a lot of room to run. Kane Coulter looking for the edge. Gets inside the 10. Will be close to the first down marker, about a yard short at the 7.
This Iowa defense is going to have to do something to slow down the run game of Northwestern. That was their #1 goal coming in. Coach Fitzgerald said, we got to establish the line of scrimmage. We got to establish the run. They've done a terrific job of that here. And if Iowa plans to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to find a way to contain Coulter as he's at quarterback and slow down Venrick Mark when he's at running back.
They are together in the backfield right now. Coulter, the give to Mark, the dodge to the left inside the 5. Northwestern already has 5 carries of better than 10 yards today. And as Pat Fitzgerald described it, win the 6-inch war, win that game right up front. And that's what they've been able to do thus far. They are rolling on the ground. The one hiccup was when they tried to throw the ball and Kane Coulter got intercepted. Coulter fakes to Tyrus Jones. Christian Kirksey to grab a hold of Kane Coulter.
And that time, the Iowa defense, everyone stayed in their lanes. They didn't give up any seams. Everyone stayed put and didn't give Coulter anywhere to run to. So he just got swallowed up by the defensive line. And that's the way they have to contain this offense and contain Coulter at quarterback.
Coulter on the run to the 3-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up. Steve Bigack, the senior from Cleveland, with the stop.
And 3rd down is when Coulter has made the big plays so far in this game. Defensively for Iowa, everyone has to play sound defense. Stay in your lane. Don't give him an area to take off running. Coulter would much rather run this ball in if he could. So I expect to see a pass called, but Coulter looked to run if he gets the chance.
Option right, Coulter gonna keep it into the end zone, and his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day.
And once again, the running game, the 3rd down ability of Coulter to run the ball and get the first downs has been key for Northwestern so far today, and that time gets into the end zone.
Budzine trying to make it 14-3. Couple of scores for Kane Coulter. This second one set up by Venrick Mark from the 1-yard line. 72 yards right up the middle. Hyde gonna haul him down, but that doesn't slow down the drive as Northwestern takes it in again. Kane Coulter, a couple of touchdown runs. Northwestern has already rushed for 174 yards here in this first half as Jordan Cotton is taken down at the 23-yard line. Here's Damon Bullock is the lone setback. A couple of tight ends in the formation for Iowa. Bullock, another nice cutback, a couple of moves. And Bullock taken down at the 30-yard line. Pickup of 6. Good block by Nolan McMillan.
And we talked earlier about Northwestern's ability to stop the pro-style running game. Mark Weissman is a downhill runner, and that's what Northwestern, that's what they specialize in stopping, is a downhill running back like Weissman.
We've done a decent job on Weissman. We've been seeing more of Bullock. Keenan Davis with the catch. Stepped out of bounds at the 49-yard line. That's the third grab today for Keenan, and a first down Iowa.
And Vandenberg has looked very good today. I mean, he has the 2 dropped balls, but other than that, he looks comfortable. He looks confident. He's made throws on the run. He's made throws in the pocket, and now makes a throw over the top downfield on the sideline. He's looked as good today as I've seen him all season long.
Coaches talked about wanting him to relax and have some fun today, not press to try and do too much. The incompletion. Looking for Cotton at the 45-yard line. First year with the offensive coordinator from Texas, Greg Davis, now up in the press box for Iowa.
And Coach Davis talked about the number of ways to try to get Vandenberg to have fun during this game with the movement throws, keeping the defense off balance. He's 9 of 12 already today, and that is as good as he's been all season long here early on. Only 3 points to show for it, but offensively, they've been pretty good.
Vandenberg dropped by Bullock at the 45-yard line of Northwestern. Of course, Vandenberg has worked with some awfully good quarterbacks over the years, including those guys at Texas. Lewis Johnson has more on that.
Well, Beth, Greg Davis telling us about how important it is for James Vandenberg to show the world what he sees Tuesday through Thursday. A guy who's excited, picking at DBs, just having a lot of fun. But when he gets out here on Saturday, sometimes he's pressing too much. He wants him just to relax and have some fun, as you mentioned.
He had success, of course, with the national championship. And Vince Young in 2005 under Matt Brown. And Cotton with the grab at the 40-yard line. And that's another Hawkeye first down.
And that's the arm strength by Vandenberg to be able to get the ball to the wide side of the field out far. That's the longest throw you can make for a quarterback, to the wide side, the out cut. A lot of cushion by the corner again. These are new corners. These guys are going to stay a little softer and give these Iowa receivers a chance to do things underneath.
The new left side of that O-line is holding up pretty well thus far, too, for Iowa. Bullock cutting back to that left side, and a gain of 8 on first down. On second and short for Iowa, the Hawkeyes on the move. Bullock trying to get to the outside, dives to the 31-yard line. Chance Carter in hot pursuit.
And this is what Bullock brings to the Iowa offense. He gives you that little extra burst, the ability to make a cut, make a guy miss, and maybe use his speed to get around the corner to gain positive yards. Now it sets up a 3rd and short. We'll see if Iowa's willing to run Bullock up in the middle. Weissman has been the in-between the tackles guy, but we'll see now. And here comes Weissman for the 3rd and short. Expect to see a run up the middle here from Weissman.
Vandenberg will keep, and he's got it. So they use Weissman as the decoy, and they run right behind James Ferentz up the middle.
Really nice job by the interior offensive line of Iowa, getting a nice push. That's James Ferentz in the middle, who is their leader. He's the guy that has started the most games on the offensive line, gets a really nice push, and moves the chains again for a big first down.
Nolan McMillan was right there alongside him. They are replacing 2 injured O-linemen here this afternoon. Bullock still on the side. Weissman is the setback. 9th play of the drive here for the Hawkeyes. And it's Weissman. And Weissman to the 26-yard line, wrapped up by Damian Proby. The clock continues to run. 1:16 to go here in the first half. Mark Weissman helped off to the sideline. He had the ankle injury coming in. And then Lewis Johnson reporting on a leg injury earlier in this game. So he is out right now. Damon Bullock offset with Vandenberg. They have all 3 of their timeouts left. They set up the receiver screen for Martin Manley to the 24-yard line. Ferentz out there to lead the way. McEvely with the tackle. James Vandenberg, good first half numbers, particularly on 3rd down. And now they'd like some points to back up the improvement of their quarterback. They've got a couple of timeouts remaining, final minute of this first half, and a big 3rd down play. Vandenberg taken down by Tyler Scott, the Big Ten sacks leader.
You talk to this defensive staff from Northwestern, and they're excited about the way their defensive ends have played. Tyler Scott on a big 3rd down and chance to stop the momentum that this Iowa offense has created, comes off the end and gets a hold of Vandenberg and takes him down for a big loss.
They are going into the win. That is one possibility as to why you don't go to Meyer in this situation. And they will go for it here on 4th and 11. Vandenberg to the air, incomplete as he underthrows Keenan Davis. Northwestern will take over on downs.
And the back shoulder throw is probably one of the toughest throws to make for a quarterback, and especially if you're throwing to a guy that you're not real comfortable with. We talked about Marvin McNutt not being here for Vandenberg. He goes out to his #1 guy this season in Keenan Davis and tries to throw the back shoulder throw. Those are just tough throws to complete, especially with a man under situation, as you can see the corner trailing in that situation with the safety over top.
Davis slipped and fell on the play as well. Kane Coulter will just take a knee here as the final seconds will run off. Pat Fitzgerald content to take the 14-3 lead into the locker room here on homecoming weekend in Chicago. And Iowa will get the football to start out the 3rd quarter. Let's send it down to Lewis Johnson.
Okay, Beth, thanks very much. Well, Coach, you said you really needed to possess the ball, run a lot of plays, quick tempo. Your thoughts on how Coulter and your offense are running?
Well, we were great when we were executing, and then when we kind of stubbed our toe here at the end of the first half, they were able to possess the ball a little longer than we want. So we've got to get out, get in the locker room, clean some things up, make some adjustments, and come out here and finish strong.
And how do you keep Iowa down? They seem to struggle to get any offense going. How do you keep
I
doing
don't know
that?
about that. I just think we're being pretty fortunate right now. It's going to come down to a 4-quarter game. Get an extra sandwich. It's going 4 quarters.
Sounds good. I'm hungry. Thanks. Beth.
6 of their 8 games this year have been decided in the 4th quarter, so Northwestern fans accustomed to that. Let's get you now to Wendy Nix in the studio with the Discover Card halftime report. And there is The Rock here on the Northwestern campus, and a good photo op for homecoming weekend. The Wildcats leading the Hawkeyes 14-3 as we get set to start the 3rd quarter. Iowa will have the football, receiving the kick here to start out the 2nd half. Beth Mullins along with Joey Galloway, Lewis Johnson also with us today in Evanston. The running game, the ground attack did very well for Northwestern in that first half of play. Kane Coulter with a couple of rushing TDs.
And that was their goal, to run the ball well, and they couldn't have done any better. They start off the game with a long drive. Benrick Mark later breaks off the long run to put points on the board. The run game for Northwestern has been the key, and if Iowa wants to stay in this, they got to slow the run game down and be able to get their own pass game going to get points on the board.
James Vandenberg and the Hawkeyes, they had the Meyer field goal in the first half. That was it, looking for their first touchdown as Damon Bullock gets the carry out to the 29-yard line. Mark Weissman was injured in that first half. We'll still have to wait and see if he can come back as we see the first half statistics. And how about the $197 on the ground for Northwestern?
And I think both teams will be pretty excited about these stats because of the pass yards for Iowa. They've struggled to throw the ball this year. We talked about Vandenberg's numbers this year compared to last. So I think both sides are pretty excited about their offenses so far.
Damian Proby, the middle linebacker, just headed to the sideline. And Bullock stopped at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up third down. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Beth, I talked to Kirk Ferentz coming out of the locker room, and I have to tell you, I sensed a lot of tension on that side of the ball as they went back to get ready for the second half. A lot of pressure on him and on this team to try and generate some offense. I asked him what the situation is. He says, number one, we need to make makeable plays. Think about all the drop balls that James Vandenberg had. And by the way, does he stay at quarterback? Kirk Ferentz says yes. And as for Mark Weissman, he has a leg strain, and his answer on him, we'll see. Beth?
Thank you very much, Lewis. They'll stay with Bullock here on third down in the backfield. Vandenberg stepping up and right into the pressure. And he is sacked for the third time today.
And this is a coverage sack. This is nice coverage by the Northwestern secondary. We talked about their depletion at corner, but these guys have played pretty good today when they've had to. They've covered the Iowa wide receivers, and that creates the sack. Vandenberg cannot stand in the pocket that long, especially being down a few offensive linemen here today.
Redshirt freshman Deontay Gibson with the sack. Venrick Mark, who has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year, is back in the punt is blocked. Northwestern special teams coming up with a huge play. Tyrus Jones able to break through to block the punt.
And Tyrus Jones right down the center of the offense for Iowa. It's just a mistake. He's just unblocked. He does a terrific job of taking the ball right off the punter's foot. You want it to go straight back so you can scoop and score, but that is a tremendous play, taking the ball off the punter's foot.
No chance that time for Kornbrath as Jones was right on top of him quickly. Kane Coulter trying to strike, looking for an opening and finds it, and Kane Coulter has his third rushing touchdown of the day. Give him 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. And off of the punt block, Northwestern strikes quickly. Budzine tags on the PAT. The Wildcats. Tyrus Jones going right up the middle to block the punt. And that sets up the Cats inside the 5. And Kane Coulter looking right, not finding a seam, and dodging back to the left for 6. Back here in Evanston, and a celebration, Kane Coulter, who scored the TD, Tyrus Jones, who blocked the punt that led to that 6 points. And what a hot start to this third quarter for Northwestern and for Kirk Ferentz. The hole getting a little bit deeper, down 8. James Vandenberg on the rollout. He's got Williams tracking him from behind, and another dropped ball by the Hawkeye receivers today.
These receivers for Iowa have dropped probably about 4 passes today, and it's been, you know, and we've talked about Vandenberg's day and the struggles that he's had. These receivers today are not helping out his cause by dropping these balls.
On second down, out to the 30, Damon Bullock. Vandenberg was effective throwing the ball on third down in that first half for the most part. They also had a big delay of game penalty on a 3rd down situation that cost them a chance at some points. Firing down the middle, incomplete. Almost picked off by Damian Proby.
And these are the kind of plays that Northwestern talked about. When you speak to their defensive staff, they want to make these kind of plays. These are balls that they feel as if they can pick these balls off as opposed to just slapping them away. If they'd have done that last week, they have a chance to win the game. They want to make the plays that they were in place to make and turn those into interceptions as opposed to just smacking the ball down.
Venrick Mark is the deep man, the top punt returner in the nation. Tyrus Jones blocking the Cornbrath punt the last time. They will try and set up Mark for a return here, and it is well short and touched by Morris. And Northwestern will take over outside its 40-yard line, up 21-3. A big weekend on campus here at Northwestern, not just for homecoming, but the reopening. They had the ribbon-cutting ceremony on Friday at Deering Library. Those majestic front doors back in service, and a beautiful ceremony last night over at the Deering Library. And one of the centerpieces of this Northwestern campus. One of the present-day centerpieces here at Northwestern is their dual threat, actually triple threat QB, Kane Coulter, who we have seen exclusively at quarterback so far today. And an awfully good ground game for Northwestern. They're already over 200 yards rushing. They were close to that in the first half alone. Taking advantage of a nice special teams play, the block punt to score a touchdown. Coulter has all 3 TDs here this afternoon for Northwestern. And he will give, actually he's going to pull it back and keep it himself after the fake to Mark. To the Northwestern 48-yard line. 3rd and 5.
And this is when Coulter has been his most dangerous. On these 3rd and longs, he's had a chance to make plays with his feet. As the defenders are turned, locating receivers, he's made big plays running the ball.
Five for 6 for Northwestern on 3rd down today. Coulter to the air. The catch is made by Demetrius Fields, bumped out of bounds right at that marker by Sean Draper. That's the first catch for Fields.
And this is a nice throw by Coulter out to the sideline. Again, that's a long throw, and he's not known as a throwing guy, but he's been pretty good in the quick game and delivers a first down for Northwestern.
Coulter pulls it back. He's looking to go deep down the middle, and he's got a man up by Jones with the catch at the 5. Touchdown, Christian Jones. 47 yards on just their 8th pass attempt of the afternoon. Kane Coulter with 3 rushing scores, and now the passing touchdown, the 2nd of the season for Christian Jones, the sophomore out of Houston. PAT from Bud Zine, and Northwestern 28-3 over Iowa. Still over 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
And how about Coulter's ability to throw the ball downfield? This has been their struggle, is the big play downfield in the pass game. How about the strike for the touchdown?
Coulter's loving it. So are the Northwestern fans on this homecoming weekend. Welcome back to Lake Michigan and Northwestern University homecoming weekend. And the home folks liking the score thus far, 28-3, 10:43 to go here in the 3rd. And quite a big day for Kane Coulter in this Northwestern offense. Coulter with 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. They have come up with a big special teams play. And Iowa and James Vandenberg, a big hole to try and dig out of. They'll start at their own 25-yard line. Well, Brent Musburger unable to make it back home. He's got a big night tonight. Michael Wilbon, though, able to return to campus as we take a look at some of the broadcasting and sports writing greats from the Medill School of Journalism. And here he is in his Venrick Mark jersey, ready to go. Michael, thank you so much for taking a minute or two to be with us today.
Thanks for having me, Beth. I appreciate it. It's a little better feeling, perhaps, going into the fourth quarter today than last week. Although going into the fourth quarter last week was fine. It's been a nice bounce back.
How excited are you about what Northwestern has been able to accomplish in the Big Ten? Looked at one of the teams that could represent this conference.
Joey, a lot. I mean, and I'm old enough to have been around here. And you remember those days when you were on the right end of some long scores.
We weren't sure about Northwestern.
Exactly. But it's turned around, and Pat Fitzgerald has done a phenomenal job, and his staff, of just sort of, not just recruiting, but implementing an entire program and just erasing. They don't refer to what you and I know to have been Northwestern football once upon a time. So we are really, really excited about days like today.
The handoff there to Damon Bullock getting out across the 35-yard line. You made a reference to the fourth quarter. Pat Fitzgerald actually mentioned it as well at halftime. No lead seems to be too short or too long for the Wildcats to come back from and make things a little bit interesting. What's it been like for you as a fan this year? Kind of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, there have been some exciting moments. I mean, the comeback after blowing a big lead, coming back to win at Syracuse even. And these games, they're just roller coasters. Cardiac cats is very literal. I mean, I couldn't even move out of my seat after the blown lead against Nebraska last week. I sat in the stadium for about 30 minutes. Again, this is a new experience around here, Joey, where you have these games where you're expecting to lead. So we're all trying to forget about, we could be.
Yeah.
And because there's nothing wrong at all with what we hope is a 7-2 record, after today's game. But the flirting with perfection, it was certainly there.
Do you wear a jersey every time you come to a game?
I have just started doing that here in the last couple of weeks. And after last week, I thought it might be a jinx. Maybe I should take it off. Venrick might tell me to get rid of the jersey.
That would have gone for it.
Vandenberg with the completion. Tyvon Smith with the catch. Still over 5 minutes to go here in the third. A 16-yard pickup. 28-3, Northwestern on top. Kane Coulter, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing TD. Beth Mowins, Joey Galloway, Michael Wilbon joining us up in the booth. Lewis Johnson down on the field on a chilly, windy day, but just a gorgeous day by the lake with the sunshine out for homecoming weekend. Damon Bullock pulling his way forward for some good yardage. We have yet to see Weissman return. Mark Weissman, the running back for Iowa, since he got nicked up in that first half. And let's go down right now. Lewis has another injury update for us.
Well, Beth, this is an update on the wide receiver for Iowa, Keelan Davis, who came out. They were looking at his left wrist, taped it up, and he took some passes, but he looked to be in some pain, not out there. And Michael, it's great to see you here.
Thank you, Lewis. Thank you.
We're talking speed. Kane Coulter, your quarterback, you got to have that on the field as you sit next to speed. You know Joey's nickname, right, on the crew? 401. But, you got to have that quarterback, right? I think that's been part of the Pat Fitzgerald's magic potion here, a guy like Coulter who can really run the ball and is just so electrifying.
I can see why he would trust Coulter on that 4th and 3?
Yes.
And also that, part of this is if your defense has been unable to stop people in the fourth quarter, generate some more points.
Absolutely.
Let the offense keep playing, since that's been the strength of this team, clearly.
Are you feeling good at up 25?
No. Joey, not as good as I should.
Bullock. Some more good yardage on the ground. Thanks, Wendy. Well, Damon Bullock, in his return from injury this afternoon, 15 carries, 79 yards. He's going to get it again. Another nice cutback. And stumbling inside the 20-yard line. And it looks like he'll have the first down yardage.
And his coaching staff was excited to have Bullock back, and you can see why. He's a very good running back, and he brings a different dimension than Weissman. Weissman's downhill, no cuts, run straight ahead. Bullock gives you the ability. You got to worry about him bouncing one out, cutting one back on you. He looks pretty good today, and it's good to see him back after missing 4 games.
And, of course, certainly in the back of Kirk Ferentz's mind, he knows that Iowa scored 24 in the fourth quarter against Northwestern last year to come back to win it. Good poise on that pass to Martin Manley.
You know what I wonder here, Joey, is, and you've been in this spot, even though you, as an offensive player, not on the defensive side, but Let's see if he got one. He need to get the foot down. At what point does the Northwestern defense start to go, uh-oh, here we go again? Even at home with a 25-point lead, and nobody's going to pretend that Iowa's Nebraska or Penn State, but you wonder at what point they get a little worried about Iowa moving the ball against them.
Oh, I bet they're counting down the seconds. I guarantee that, as a defense, they're looking at the time clock, saying it can't move fast enough because they've been in a situation going into the fourth. They're up by 12. They're feeling pretty good, and that has crumbled. And it's a team that is capable. If Vandenberg stays hot, they're capable of throwing the ball, and that's where Northwestern has struggled. So I know that that's in the back of their minds.
For the Hawkeyes, well, they've got a good field goal kicker, but they want more sevens. They're just 40% in the red zone this season in scoring touchdowns. Third and short, Bullock. Nice push by the O-line, and Bullock to the 6. First and goal, Hawkeyes in a 5-yard gain.
And you give the offensive line from Iowa a lot of credit right there, because that big scheme on offense, that's playing into Northwestern's hands. That's what they're good at stopping. If anything, the pro-style running game is what they've been able to stop. And you give the offensive line from Iowa credit that they were able to pick up the big first down. And now they get a chance to see, can they get some sevens and make Wilbon a little more nervous.
Little shift.
It won't take much, Joey.
Little shift to on this drive. They are starting to win at the line of scrimmage as Vandenberg throws that one away.
They're getting some pushback. And this is what, last week, Northwestern maintained, I'm not going to say control, but that was a 50-50 battle line of scrimmage.
Yes. Which
is rare to have anytime you play Nebraska. But right now, after controlling this game at the line of scrimmage, we're seeing on this drive anyway, I was getting some big pushback here. And this is, you wonder with a long series if they've been on the field a little bit too long.
10th play of this drive, the Northwestern defense has already been on the field for about 28 minutes. Bullock, good second and third effort to the 3.
David Bullock, the ball carrier.
This Iowa offense has had the football about 14 minutes more than Northwestern has today. And here comes the 12th play of the drive.
I think you run it 2 more times. If I'm Iowa in this situation, I run it 2 more times with Bullock. Weissman's out. I would love to have Weissman in this situation, but I run it with Bullock 2 more times to see if I can punch this in the end zone.
Two tight ends, Bullock. Wabusi trying to bring him down at the 1.
David Bullock,
And a couple feet short.
There's no decision here. There's no decision. You are lining up and going for this. On perhaps the last play of the third quarter, and you're down 25 points. And you're right, Joey. There's no reason to go to anything. Not even play action here. You hand the ball off.
I hand it off. They've been in this same formation for the past 4 plays and been successful.
Vandenberg will keep, and he will score. Touchdown, Iowa. An impressive drive for the Hawkeyes, capped off by the keeper. They had it for over 5 minutes. They take it 59 yards and a dozen plays to score.
The extra point by Meyer.
Meyer on for the extra point. And he's got it. 28-10 with 21 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and things getting a bit more interesting. Joey just wants his head in the background on PTI. That's his goal.
We can arrange
That's his mission next week.
I know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah. When I used to play, dead serious, I used to look at the background and wonder, what do I need to do to get into the background?
We know, and they always accuse me. Can Vinny Mark get loose here? There's a holding penalty coming up.
Flag down as Mark goes down.
15. They accuse me on the show anyway of being too Big Ten biased, too Big Ten centric, if you will, which is probably true.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But I am, so I'm always lobbying for Big Ten guys. to have a head behind me on the set. We like to have that.
As long as it's for a good reason, Joey. Sometimes heads show up back there of dubious distinction.
That's what I always wondered, because anytime someone did something bad, I would turn on the show the next day, and there'd be the biggest head back there.
It would be.
And I thought, my problem is, I just don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's why
that's not a problem, though.
Well, it was for the show.
It was for the show, that's right. But that was a good thing that his head was not up there.
Yeah, I think you have the post-game Cam Newton press conference over your shoulder this week. Yeah.
We're waiting to see what outfit he has and what Cam's going to wear and how he's going to get that head back there.
All right, King Coulter in what could end this third quarter. And Coulter out across the 25, and he picks up the first down yardage on a gain of 12 yards. Well, Northwestern grad Michael Wilbon, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the time here in the third quarter.
Beth and Joey. It's been fun. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And we hope you'll be able to enjoy your fourth quarter coming up here. It's been a wild ride for Northwestern fans in fourth quarters all year long. Third quarter comes to a completion. And Northwestern with the 28-10 lead. Good night, Canada. Back for the fourth in a moment. Like lightning at times has been a good way to describe the ground game for Northwestern. 240 rushing yards. Venrick Mark had a 72-yard run earlier in the ball game. Kane Coulter is approaching 100 yards for the day as he picks up 4 more to the 30-yard line. That's been the big difference thus far, but Iowa coming off of a touchdown after Northwestern went for it and did not get it on 4th down. And now a bit of the momentum has swung the other way. Coulter now 19 carries, 103 yards, his second 100-yard day of the season. Venrick Mark, and look at Dan Vitale, the superback leading the way, blocking a couple of Hawkeyes to spring Mark.
Really nice run by Mark, but he has got to stay in bounds in this situation. He cannot go out of bounds and stop the clock. Find a way to fall in bounds. Really nice run, nice gain. Again, the speed of Venrick Mark gets around the corner. Nice block by Vitale, but he got to stay in bounds.
Well, Vitale blocking Kirksey and then getting in the way of Miller. The true freshman out of Wheaton, Illinois, one of their top recruits this year. Venrick Mark now 11 rushes, 132 yards. He has gone over 1,000 for the season today. Trying to cut back right into the heart of that Hawkeye defense. Louis Trinka-Passat back home in Chicago with the tackle. Well, we talked about them at the top of the broadcast. Double trouble for Northwestern, both over 100 yards today. How about Mark averaging 12 yards a carry? And
the recipe for success, as we talked to Coach Fitzgerald and this offense, was run the ball, because it makes your defense better. They get more rest, and you possess the ball. In this situation, now it's important to keep the clock running with your run game.
Coulter, this time running right. The nice cutback inside the 40. Diving down to the 36-yard line. That clock continues to roll. For more on Coulter, here's Lewis.
We know that he is a serious student athlete studying psychology as Coulter, but may take a track toward pre-med with the goal of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. Remember the story he told us about having shoulder surgery back in high school. He asked the doctor to videotape it. He watched it, and then later watched a tape of an ACL surgery, another shoulder surgery. So he told us that, maybe one day he'll be a guy helping players get back on the field after injuries. So student athlete busy today and through the week.
Thank you, Lewis. Yeah, watched his own surgery after it was done. And here is Coulter once again. That shoulder injury, by the way, may end up being a blessing in disguise for Northwestern, because prior to the injury, he was headed to Stanford. And then Stanford started to lose interest after the injury. Northwestern stayed in the mix. And Coulter ended up here in Evanston because he wanted to play quarterback.
And what a fun kid to sit down and talk to. And he talks about his future, and it's not about football. It's about his academics. It's about becoming a doctor, and that's fun to hear a young man talk about things in his future besides football.
Venrick Mark tried to stay in bounds, couldn't do it. Steps out. And here in Evanston, Venrick Mark taking it inside the 5-yard line. First and goal with the 12th play of this drive coming up. Joey able to keep it on the ground and apparently going to be able to respond to the Iowa touchdown a moment ago.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be much hangover from the loss last week and the struggles in the fourth quarter, not being able to run the ball, not being able to put a team away. They look different today, a little different in their confidence. They're able to run the ball with Mark. They're able to keep the ball in Coulter's hands. Offensively, they look very confident in what they're doing and trying to run the football.
Coulter, the snap over his head, and Kane unable to scoop it up. Venrick Mark down at the bottom of the pile. Looks like he's fighting with Micah Hyde for possession, and Iowa's got it. With Northwestern knocking on the door, the Hawkeyes get their second turnover.
If I was going to have a chance to get back in this game, it's going to be by mistakes by Northwestern and their ability to capitalize on a fumble on the ball on the ground.
Over the head of Kane Coulter, could not jump on it, and Micah Hyde, who also has the interception today, has a fumble recovery as well. Beautiful fall afternoon here in Evanston, Illinois. 28-10 Northwestern, but another turnover, the second of the day, given away by the Cats. And Iowa down 18 with 9 minutes to go. They've got the full complement of timeouts remaining.
And Vandenberg has looked better today. The problem is most of the throws have been the shorter variety, which keeps the clock rolling in a situation. You have to find a way to get downfield with these balls, at least get first down to stop the clock.
And they will try and hurry up the offense a bit here. Vandenberg has Martin Manley. Short gain to the 23-yard line. They need to get out to the 26 for a first down. Third and a couple.
This isn't very quick as far as offense goes. You would want them to go a little faster in a 2-minute mode now, and they're still taking their time getting the call in.
That's 45 seconds there between plays. The completion for the first down to Fedorowicz to the 30.
They've completed 3 passes in this drive for a total of 14 yards. That's just not going to do it. Down 18 in the fourth, 8 minutes left. They're going to have to find a way to go downfield.
Under 8 minutes to go. Scott missed on Vandenberg. And now the short pass down to the 41-yard line for the completion and a pickup of 13 yards and a first down.
And it's going to be important for the receivers, no matter where they catch the ball, be aware of where the sideline is. Step out of bounds. The clock is not your friend at this point. You got to get out of bounds.
They're going to try and run it here, and Bullock picks up 9. That's a little bit more of a nail-biter than Longhorn fans had expected. Bullock, they're going to run it again to get the first down yardage as the clock continues to roll down. 7:02 as they reset on the move. And the pass incomplete. And a penalty flag is down. They tried to find Jordan Cotton, and it actually hit him. And another injured player. This is Will Hampton.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 88. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
Quentin Williams whistled for the personal foul penalty. That will benefit Iowa.
Yeah, that's a little touchy. That's a little touchy. But, I mean, just don't touch him. There's no point of even putting your hands on him, even though it's a nice acting job by Vandenberg to fall to the ground.
Coulter also with over 100 yards rushing today. But right now, the focus is on the Hawkeyes and James Vandenberg, benefiting from the 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 from the 15. He's got time. He drops it off underneath to Damon Bullock to the 1. 1st and goal, Hawkeyes.
And Bullock has made a number of catches out of the backfield today. These coaches talked about he came here as a receiver, and he's shown that today.
and beat the clock. And touchdown, Iowa. Vandenberg with the keeper. His second sneak for a score in this second half. And now it's 28-16 with the PAT to go.
Again, we talked about the offensive line before on the quarterback sneak when Vandenberg scored his last touchdown. And again, look at the movement. That's that battle up front that both coaches talked about the need to win. Nice push by the Iowa offensive line.
So here comes Iowa with 6:37 to go, capitalizing on a 4th down stop, a turnover, and a late penalty on that scoring drive. And now do you go onsides here with 6:37 to go and you need points? And they will boot it away and it will go through the end zone. So the Hawkeyes are going to call on their defense here to try and get them a 3-and-out or another takeaway. They've had 10 possessions today as Northwestern just 1 3-and-out. As Coulter tries to improvise and he will slide down at the 29-yard line. They'll try and utilize as much of the play clock as they can. And this is something that we talk about a lot with Northwestern. When you are a constant 2-minute drill type of team all game long, how do you then go about working the clock late?
And this is what everyone wonders. Where is the pro set 2 running back 4-minute offense with the ability to just grind out these fourth quarters late when you have a lead? They don't have that ability. You talk to Coach McCall about that. That's just not what they do. They stay in this system with, you know, the quarterback not under center, taking the snap, riding out the option, and they feel as if they can do it. They haven't been very good at it, but the idea is they feel that their run game they run all game long is how they plan to run the clock out at the end of games.
Big takedown there by the Hawkeye defense. 3rd down and 7. 15 seconds on the play clock here as the game clock continues to run down under 5.5. Coulter gonna keep it, and he will be thrown down for a loss. Huge stop by the Hawkeye defense to force the punt.
And this is defensively, this is what they needed to do. Get off the field, not take much time off the clock. Nice stop. They were not fooled by the passing formation of Northwestern. They figured Coulter would try to run the ball, and they stop him in the backfield and will get the ball back, and maybe in pretty good field position, a chance to try to get another touchdown.
May end up only costing them just over a couple of minutes on the game clock. Punt is away, and they will have some good field position at their own 43-yard line after the 33-yard punt. They've got 3 timeouts. They've got 4.5 minutes, and they've got James Vandenberg coming out. It's the same old story, and it's a good one. Northwestern and a barn burner in the 4th quarter. Iowa with the football. Last year, a huge 4th quarter comeback to beat Northwestern. They're trying to do it again. Down at one point today, 28-3. And now a couple of touchdowns engineered by James Vandenberg, and they are looking to move it again. Northwestern, they are 4-2 in games this year that have come down to the 4th quarter. Both their losses, they squandered double-digit leads. Vandenberg, plenty of time. Bullock with the catch at midfield. That's his 3rd catch of the day. Damian Proby with the tackle.
And that's a play, again, that is short of the 1st down marker, which will keep the clock running. They have to go further downfield with these passes to at least get 1st downs and stop the clock or get out of bounds.
3rd and 3. Looking for Martin Manley, and he is able to get out of bounds and pick up the 1st down at the 43-yard line.
And it's key for Iowa to get the ball out of bounds and stop the clock, because their play calls coming in aren't at a breakneck speed. They don't come in fast enough in their 2-minute offense, so it's important to get out of bounds so that they can just huddle up with a stopped clock.
Vandenberg looking to go up top, incomplete, overthrows Martin Manley. He had Quentin Williams bearing down on him.
And Vandenberg would love to have that throwback. You can see he's upset with himself here. Misses an open wide receiver downfield. Going out of bounds would be a first down. Those are the plays that he has to complete to be the quarterback that this team needs. I mean, it's late in the fourth. That throw has to be made.
Vandenberg to Fedorowicz, the short pass to the 35-yard line, and the clock continues to move. Under 3 minutes to go. Iowa quickly to the line. Vandenberg will try and bull his way forward for the first down, and he's got it to temporarily stop the clock.
How quickly can they line up and get their play call in, and then get it relayed to everyone else? That's the key. Get it in, and then you still have to relay it to everyone else on the offense.
Drop one off over the middle again to Bullock to the 25.
And again, clock runs. Another shorter pass completion. Have to go downfield.
You know, they're trying to save the timeouts in case they can score and get an onside kick to get the ball back. Vandenberg, another overthrow to the outside.
I think Vandenberg's seen the corner playing underneath Jones, and maybe he tried to throw this away with Jones being underneath, trying to throw an outcut. That's a tough throw going over the corner's head in that situation, so they may have tried to throw that ball away, and which, you know, an incomplete pass stops the clock. And now we have a 3rd and 3. They've dinked and dunked all the way down the field, so a 3rd and 3, you would think that they could complete this, but they have to find a way to get back on the ball and get their play call in and run a little quicker in between plays.
They need to get to the 21. Vandenberg on 4th down, incomplete, and Northwestern will take over.
And here's an outcut run by Iowa to try to pick up the 4th and 3, and it's just bad timing. The ball is overthrown out of bounds. It's just, the play doesn't look in sync. And we've talked about Vandenberg and how he's had a much better game today. Just not real happy about the way they've looked in the 2-minute offense.
Well, and there's going to be plenty of discussion about that delay of game penalty right there that cost them a first down and a timeout. So they have just 2 of those left here to try and stop the clock. Coulter to Venrick Mark. Both those guys over 100 yards rushing today. Well, the other thing, too, Joey, that'll be interesting to see is how will Northwestern handle Kane Coulter at quarterback. They've used him almost exclusively today, and they've used it successfully in terms of their running attack. And I'm sure that they can tweak the system a little bit based on the opponent. But certainly Coulter and Venrick Mark together make it awfully tough to stop a run game that's got over 300 yards today.
When you talk to Coulter, he's very clear. He would like to play quarterback. It puts the ball in his hands more if he's at quarterback. And he's made a very good case for himself here today to be the quarterback. They want to run the ball. That's what they are. They are a running football team, and Coulter at quarterback enhances the run game. It makes it easier for Venrick Mark to longer runs because the defensive line has got to account for Coulter. He makes them a better running football team at quarterback.
They've got the bye next week, then road trips to Michigan and Michigan State, and back home Thanksgiving week for Illinois. They, of course, are already bowl eligible. Coulter option right, the cutback, and he's got a lot of green in front of him. Kane Coulter. He's got Tony Jones blocking in front of him, and Coulter will slide down at the 31-yard line.
And that's a veteran. That is a veteran leader on your football team. Sliding down, staying in bounds. The yards no longer matter in this situation. What matters is getting the first down and keeping the clock running. He has a chance here to try to maybe break this for a lot longer run, but he also runs the risk of going out of bounds and stopping the clock. This is a veteran guy. This is a guy that cares about winning a football game, not about the personal yards.
Big day on the ground for Kane Coulter. He had 161 yards rushing against Indiana. He's over 160 again today. 26 carries is a career high for Kane.
2nd and 2.
And Northwestern is flirting with 350 yards on the ground today.
They'll be very excited to go back and watch this game tape, especially after last week's loss to Nebraska. They can't wait to get in and watch this game tape and see what they did with their run game and how they accomplished their goals.
Cats will go to 7-2, 3-2 in the Legends. Iowa will fall to 4-4, 2-1 in the Legends division. 2-2, excuse me, in the Legends division. And for the Hawkeyes, Indiana, Purdue, Michigan, and Nebraska. Out of those 4, they're going to at least have to get a couple to become bowl eligible. And down to the field now, Pat Fitzgerald is with Lewis.
Thanks very much, Beth. Well, how big is this win over the Hawkeyes?
Well, number one, we want to lift this game up to Leon Brockmeyer's family and extend our sincere condolences, and incredibly proud of our guys. We've been resilient. We haven't played great all the time, but we found a way to win. This is a big win on homecoming.
You have struggled twice with fourth-quarter leads. Why were you able to hold on to this one today?
Made some plays. You know, it's amazing. And credit goes to the young men. Terrific job by them, and we need this bye week to get healthy and get some rest and go from there.
And what do you focus on? You've got Coulter, who's doing great things. What do you focus on here with a week off before you get back into Big Ten play?
Well, we got midterms. We're going to focus on that first.
Right?
Yeah, and then we're going to take care of that business and then obviously get ourselves ready for a great football team on the road here in a couple of weeks. But we got to get some rest, and it's been a long grind. Now we got to get some rest and get ready to finish strong.
Coach, thanks and congratulations.
Thanks. Go Cats.
Beth?
Thank you, Lewis. Our final score, Northwestern 28, Iowa 17. College football scoreboard presented by Honda coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The Hawkeyes celebrating a win on homecoming weekend. Now let's get to Wendy Nix in our ESPN studio.